AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend stay in my house, even though she says I'm being unreasonable. So this is a long one, and I've been debating whether to post because it involves family drama that's been brewing for a while. But honestly, I want some outside perspective because I'm starting to feel like I'm the bad guy here, even though I don't think I am. For context, I, 28F, live in a moderately sized city in a 2-bedroom apartment that I share with my partner, 30M. I work a demanding job in marketing and have been working from home a lot recently due to some projects and the ongoing pandemic stuff. My younger sister, Emma, 24F, lives in a different state and has been going through a rough patch with her mental health and financial situation after losing her job earlier this year. Emma has been dating this guy, let's call him Jake, 26M, for about 6 months. I haven't met him much, only a handful of times during visits to my parents' house, but from what I've seen and heard, he's a bit of a free spirit, kind of laid back, not the most responsible or reliable person. Emma's family tends to be protective and supportive, so they've mostly been okay with him despite some red flags. Anyway, about a month ago, Emma called me out of the blue and told me she and Jake were planning to come to my city for a short visit because Jake has a job interview here. The interview was supposed to be a one-day thing, but Emma said they were thinking of staying for a few days to explore the city and spend time with me. She then asked if Jake could crash at my place because they couldn't afford a hotel and wanted to save money. I hesitated. My apartment isn't huge, and having an extra person, especially someone I barely know, would disrupt my work-from-home routine and my partner's quiet environment. Plus, Jake has a reputation for being a bit messy and laid-back, and I wasn't sure I wanted him in my space for multiple days. I tried to be diplomatic and suggested they book an Airbnb or a cheap hostel nearby instead. I offered to help them find good deals, or even gave them a list of affordable options. Emma didn't like that. She told me I was being unfair and selfish for not wanting to help them out. She said it was just for a few days and I was making it sound like a huge deal. She also said Jake was polite and wouldn't be a bother. I repeated that it's not personal, but I have a work schedule to keep and having an extra guest would be difficult. She then got upset and said, "I thought you were family. When I'm down, I expect you to be there for me. Jake's trying so hard, and you're just shutting us out." I felt guilty, but still stuck to my boundaries. Fast forward to 2 weeks later, Emma calls me again saying Jake got the job and needs to move here immediately because of onboarding and training sessions. She says they have nowhere else to stay yet and asks if they can stay at my place until they find their own apartment. She said it would be just for a couple of weeks, and I could trust her that Jake would respect the space. At this point, I was honestly stressed. I discussed it with my partner, who is equally uncomfortable with the idea. We've lived together for years and enjoy our quiet life. I'm introverted and need my space to recharge, and having 2 extra people in a 2-bedroom apartment for weeks sounded like a nightmare. Also, Jake's job is remote for the first month, meaning he'd be home during the day, which would interfere with my work. I told him a no again. I explained that it's not about not wanting to help, but about what my living situation can realistically handle. I offer to help them look for short-term rentals or even offer to loan them some money for the deposit on a place. I also offer to help with rides to Jake's training sessions or errands. Emma got furious and called me cold and uncaring. She said, "You're acting like you don't want us here. You're prioritizing your comfort over your own family. I don't know why I even bother reaching out to you." She even accused me of trying to sabotage their move and said Jake wouldn't even try to make things difficult for me. Our parents got involved when Emma called them crying, and they also called me asking why I was being so difficult. I tried to explain my side, but they said I was being selfish and needed to support my sister. They said family means helping each other no matter what. I stood my ground, but the tension has been unbearable. Emma barely talks to me now, and when she does, it's passive-aggressive or accusatory. Jake hasn't even contacted me directly, and honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Am I really the asshole for refusing to let them stay in my apartment for weeks? I want to help my sister, but I also need to protect my own boundaries and mental health. Was I unreasonable? Should I have just said yes to keep the peace? Or is it okay to say no when it truly disrupts my life? I'm conflicted and would appreciate some honest outside opinions. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because she excluded my boyfriend and then called me selfish for standing my ground? I, 28F, have always been close to my family, especially my sister, 30F. We grew up together, had the usual sibling fights, but generally got along well. Over the past few years, my boyfriend, Jake, 29M, and I have been together, and I thought my sister really liked him, or at least tolerated him. We've all been to family events together, and Jake has made an effort to bond with my family. For the most part, it felt like things were fine. My sister got engaged last year, and right from the start, the wedding planning became a bit of a nightmare. She has always been someone who likes to have complete control and a very specific vision, which is fair. Weddings are a big deal, but it started to affect how she treated the people around her. About 3 months ago, she sent out the invitations for the wedding, and that's when I found out that Jake wasn't invited. Not just Jake, but a few of my close friends as well. I was baffled because we had all been to previous family gatherings, and there was no indication that anyone was being intentionally excluded. When I asked her about it, she said that the wedding was small and intimate, and that she was only inviting family members and a handful of close friends she had known for years. She said Jake didn't count as family, and she didn't think my friend should be there either. I tried to explain that Jake and I have been together for over 2 years, that he's a significant part of my life, and that excluding him made me feel like she didn't respect our relationship. She brushed it off and said the wedding was her day, and she could invite whoever she wanted. I accepted it, reluctantly, but still stung. What made things worse was that a couple of weeks ago, she started sending me updates about the wedding, like seating charts, group photos, and other plans, and every single time, Jake was deliberately left out of the picture. At one point, she even asked me to confirm the final head count, but explicitly said not to include Jake. I told her that if Jake wasn't invited, I wasn't comfortable attending without him. This led to a big argument. She accused me of being selfish and making her wedding about me. She said it was unfair for me to hold her hostage by demanding that Jake be invited. She told me I was putting my boyfriend ahead of my family, which hurt deeply. I stood my ground and told her I wouldn't attend if Jake wasn't welcome. My parents tried to mediate, but mostly sided with her, saying it was her special day and that I was making a mountain out of a molehill. I started feeling isolated and hurt. I asked myself if I was really being selfish or if my sister was being unreasonable. A week ago, she sent me a formal message saying she was disappointed that I wasn't coming and that I should reconsider because family matters more than a boyfriend. I replied that family means respecting each other, and if she couldn't respect my relationship, then I didn't think it was healthy for me to be there. The wedding is next month, and I still haven't decided whether to go alone or stay home. I've been feeling really torn. On one hand, I want to be there for my sister on her big day, but on the other, I don't want to go where my boyfriend isn't welcome, especially since he's been a big part of my life. I also worry that if I go alone, it will create an even bigger rift between me and Jake. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because she excluded my boyfriend and then called me selfish for standing my ground? Or is she being unfair for not including the person I love in such an important event? AITA for refusing to help my sister after she got herself into a huge mess, even though it might cost me our relationship? This is a long one, so bear with me. I, 32M, have a younger sister, Lisa, 28F, who has always been kind of a wild card. Growing up, she was the free spirit of the family, and honestly, a bit irresponsible. Our parents always tried to shield me from some of her more reckless decisions, but now that we're adults, it's harder to do that. Lisa has bounced between jobs and apartments for years. She's had trouble holding down a steady job because she gets bored easily or has clashes with coworkers and bosses. Financially, she's always been dependent on our parents or me when things got tight. Our parents are in their mid-60s and retired, and they have their own health and money challenges now, so I've been trying to be the stable one who helps her when she needs it. Mostly I'm okay with it, but sometimes it feels like a burden. A couple of months ago, Lisa called me in a panic. She'd gotten involved with a guy named Mike, who seemed charming at first, but quickly turned out to be controlling and manipulative. He pressured her into quitting her job and moving in with him, saying they'd start fresh together. Within weeks, things got bad. He controlled her finances, isolated her from friends, and was verbally abusive. I was furious when she finally admitted all this, and I told her she needed to get out ASAP. Lisa asked if she could come stay with me. I live alone in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a city where the cost of living is high, but I figured I could make it work for a short time. I agreed, but with the understanding that she needed to find a job and start rebuilding her life. She promised she would. Fast forward 2 months, and things are complicated. Lisa moved in, but she hasn't held a job yet. She's been applying here and there, but keeps getting discouraged or quitting once she finds something doesn't meet her standards. Meanwhile, she's spending most of her time on social media or watching TV. I've tried to motivate her, but it feels like she expects me to solve all her problems. What really pushed me over the edge was last week. I found out that Lisa borrowed a significant amount of money from our parents without telling me or asking if it was okay. They're not in great financial shape, and I was horrified that she would do that behind my back. When I confronted her, she got defensive and said she needed the money because Mike had drained her savings and she didn't want to ask me. She also said I was too harsh and not supportive enough because I keep pushing her to get a job and be responsible. That hurt, but I'm also worried about enabling her behavior. I told her that if she couldn't start contributing financially and show real effort, she couldn't stay with me anymore. I gave her a deadline of 2 weeks to get a job and start paying rent, or she'd have to find another place. She's angry and says I'm abandoning her when she needs me the most. I don't want to lose my sister, but I also don't want to become a permanent safety net that encourages her to avoid responsibility. I've offered to help her look for jobs, review resumes, and even drive her to interviews. But if she's not willing to meet me halfway, I don't see how this can work. Our parents are caught in the middle, and they think I'm being too harsh and that I should support Lisa no matter what. But I'm exhausted. She's already had a tough life, and I want her to succeed, but I don't think coddling her will help. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to keep supporting my sister indefinitely when she isn't making efforts to help herself? Or should I be more patient and understanding given her situation?